Did you get a haircut, James?
I did get him cut, man. I was getting kind of flowy up there. This guy, Kirk, is no joke, guys, but his schedule is a 9 to 5-er, and you got to book like 5 weeks in advance.
Dude,
really? It's brutal.
I just went through this. I canceled the hair appointment with my woman, and she didn't have her first appointment until January 4th.
Yo,
what? I feel like women are different. Like women should be able to get into a barber.
Yeah, this guy's a straight barber shop.
Here's the special thing that I feel like my special talent is I can really see someone and just tell right away if they got a haircut. Like I noticed that. Like that's my special talent.
It's a good skill.
I knew you did. The sides just look shorter.
Yeah, they do. I mean, he does have a sign outside that says shorter hair guaranteed. So I knew that was happening. Welcome to Scoop City on a Monday, presented by eBay. I'm James Palmer. Caleb Williams gets his first win of the season. It's the best we've ever seen him. Herbert, Hurts, and Baker all still undefeated. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As I mentioned, it's a Monday, so we have our resident quarterback, Chase Daniel, with us. We have Dianna Russini, the Athletic senior NFL insider, with us. And we were talking before the show, Chase, the three of us. We always like to, have a little banter here at the top of the show, but you had a chance calling college games to hang out with Arch Manning for a little while. What did you glean about one of the most talked about, college guys out there right now?
I mean, literally, it was like going into the week last week, it was all everyone was talking about on talk shows. I mean, the NFL talk shows were talking about like ESPN, Fox, everyone. And so it was really cool to just get down there in Austin. We were down there. I guess I got in Thursday night or I guess Friday morning, at like 2 a.m. plane travel issues. It was awful. But we met with Sark, Coach Sarkisian. We met with Arch. We met with some other players for over an hour. And I think the biggest thing that I took away from Arch, just talking to him, first of all, the dude looks like a freaking NFL, like already. Like I knew he was big, but like when you get around him, he's got that feel of just like girth and size. And like, it feels like a Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, like standing next to him. So
is he a dense individual?
Is there density very dense. He's very dense. I was very surprised by that. But I think the biggest thing for him is like, man, like I really don't think he was feeling pressure because he's grown up around it. What I do think is he was, and talking to a lot of different people, he was like, it's called paralysis by analysis, James, right? You're overthinking things. You're trying to be too perfect. And he just came in and told me, he's like, dude, like, I just want to go out there and just freaking let it rip. And 5 touchdowns later, like he did. Now, I know it was against Sam Houston State, but it was really cool to see that. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can do it because they have a bye week, then they go Florida, Oklahoma. But here's the most fascinating story he told me. And really, he was with Michael Taft, who's an All-American safety for him. They're best friends, and they were doing the interview together. And Michael Taft told me, he's like their star safety. He's like, hey, in practice this week, Arch like looked me off. We're going one-on-one. Arch looked me off. He fit a ball between a hook curl defender and a safety, and he like layered it like we see like Brock Purdy or Herbert over the linebacker between the safety. And I guess it was like really good. It was awesome throw, one of his best throws of the year. And Arch goes running down the field and talks to the defense and says, "I'm back." Beep. Just like, okay, saucy. Like you're back, but like the confidence and the swagger and everything like that. And then I got to say one more story, and I know we're getting long, but like this to me excited me because Arch told me when we were talking separately, he's like, man, when I saw you were doing the game, like I got excited. I can just be myself around you. Like you felt everything, right? And he's like, I shouldn't be telling you this, but when I was in high school, my passwords on everything, Twitter and social media and everything like that used to be like NFL quarterbacks. And I'd keep them for a year and I'd switch and I'd do this. He's like, I got to be honest with you, my junior and senior year, my password was Chase Daniel 2. And I was like, what? I said, what? Like, I'm a backup quarterback. He's like, just like Louisiana, like big fan of you. You were a backup quarterback. Like I followed you in college.
I believe he has the same password as me.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, that's funny. But like, I didn't really, I thought that was like so interesting. I'm like, dude, like.
It's not interesting. It's flattering. It's funny.
I guess because the New Orleans connection, I was there for 5 years, but those are the two stories. I thought it was cool. But
Did you share
I think he'll be good.
When you're in the booth? Were you like, you want to know this quarterback's password?
I saved that for Scoop City. Scoop City only.
Listen,
Daniel.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Pound key, exclamation.
Yeah.
The story was worth it. Sorry, Cincinnati Bengals, you're out of the show. Listen, this is what we have coming up. We have Justin Herbert. Is he maybe possibly an MVP candidate now? He's 3-0. Jalen Hurts finally starts throwing the football. Chase is going to break down if the passing game is back in Philadelphia. Also, Caleb Williams is the best we've seen him as an NFL quarterback. Is this sustainable? Will we see some consistency? Again, I do want to mention this, by the way. Next Monday, the three of us will be live at noon Eastern. A live show, guys, here on Scoop City before a doubleheader on a Monday night game. All right, let's cut to the chase. It's a Monday. We got three quarterbacks we're going to cut to the chase with, and we're going to start with Caleb Williams. Chase was texting us on Sunday night. We got to start with Caleb Williams because he goes out and beats his former head coach, Chase, and Matt Eberflus. There was talk Flus could maybe get a game ball. Doubt he did, because the Bears won 31-14, and Caleb went bananas, almost 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns to 4 different players.
Yeah.
What jumped out at you about Caleb Williams when you watched that performance on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, everything did. I think of all the things that offense did well, and look, I get it. People are like, oh, the Cowboys defense, it sucks. The zone defense, it stinks. Yes, I would agree with that. But you have to still go out there and execute and do it. And I thought this was his best game as a professional athlete. And quite honestly, it wasn't close. The thing that stood out to me was, I believe it was in the second half, they had a 19-play drive. 11 straight runs. It was the longest drive in terms of plays and time in the past century for the Chicago Bears. Like, the 11 straight runs, it just tells me, like, Ben Johnson, he's trying to but he's trying to create an atmosphere of like competitiveness and like ugliness and just like toughness and physicalness and all this stuff, right? And especially behind that offensive line, like, I thought they played really well too. And it's like you get those big hogs going up front on the run game, and the pass game opens up, but also just the creativity, right, from Ben Johnson. Obviously, everyone saw the flea flicker to my guy, Luther Burden, Missouri, and all that stuff. But I thought that for the first time this year, Caleb put 4 quarters together. The first game, he played a good quarter. The second game, I thought he played a decent half, and then it got out of control. This game, and that's something that I think is bears watching, is like you're gaining confidence in each and every game. And the reason why I was like, we got to start with this is because, look, the Bears, they got to get better on defense. They got to do, but if they can play like this offensively, where, to your point, James, they are consistently getting other guys involved. It's not just Rome Odunze. It's not just, Cole Kmet. It's not just Swift. It's not just all these other guys, DJ Moore. If they can continue to spread the ball around like that, this was the closest version this year that I've seen to what Detroit Lions did to people last year in terms of creativity of offense. And I think that's a good sign for the Bears.
Yeah, Chase, I think teams that are preparing for the Chicago Bears and have been preparing have seen that improvement week by week. And I don't necessarily feel like the city of Chicago feels it, right? Because at the end of the day, they just see losses. But this isn't going to get fixed in just the month of September. And the growth is small, but you start stringing these together, and we can get to November and maybe have a solid Bears team here, right? Because some of the things that we're seeing Ben Johnson instill in Caleb, from just even my own eye, is he seems more patient in the pocket, right? He's sitting in there a little longer. And look, that's also thanks to that nice protection, the amount of money they spent in improving that. But the fact that he took no sacks,
pass rush.
Right?
No Micah Parsons.
Oh, that too.
No sacks, Dianna. You're right. I mean, that's big time.
That's huge.
Right. Good decision making, his arm strength. And geez, we've talked about Caleb so often on this show about no one's ever questioned the talent. It's who can kind of bring this all together and really help him transfer from playing at a college level to being a professional football player. Yeah. And this is the closest that we're seeing. And we're still a ways, but I don't necessarily think that we're hitting the panic button that I think a lot of us were maybe silently doing a bit there because it's like, is this going to work? Is maybe Ben Johnson just a good coordinator? I think this was a nice little coming out party for both of them.
Yeah, and I think what you said in your article, I think it was Sunday, what you're hearing, you hit on that, and that was something that I wanted to look at. And it's like, okay, like how does he react to like? It might feel like the city's imploding around him in Chicago, but like outside those walls, like people I've talked to in the league, other quarterbacks, like he's not playing that bad. Like he's not doing it. And this is going to take some time to build. And I'm telling you, if you get hot and you get confident as a quarterback, like this past game, even though it's against the Cowboys, like there's some stuff you can build on. It's not always going to be that easy, but if they can understand and they're going to show this today, and when they're watching the film, like, look, this is what execution looks like. I don't care who it's against. That's how you build confidence.
Yeah, you know what jumps out at me? You mentioned that drive, Chase, which was, I almost feel like it was a little bit of an FU to the former man in charge in Chicago that's running that defense, as you just wanted to just run after run after run after run when you come out of the locker room. But also you had explosive plays. You had a 4-play drive, a 1-play drive. Like they scored in a variety of ways. And the other part that really jumps out at me is I think there's a collaboration going on that I'm starting to enjoy here. Like I did you guys get a chance to see Caleb Williams give Ben Johnson a game ball in the locker room after this game? And the emotion that Caleb Williams had and pushing his head coach and the excitement that he had, it seemed so genuine. I think there was a really interesting point brought up during the broadcast, which was not that Ben Johnson needs to learn, how to do everything that Caleb Williams can and can't do. It's Ben Johnson understanding that there's some aspects of Caleb Williams that he has to let him go and play. And I thought that was something that jumped out at me is, he can create. Jared Goff was not a guy that creates off script and has those talents as part of his, arsenal. It's maybe I should be okay letting him do some of these things. And Chase, it kind of reminded me of those early years of Patrick Mahomes. I'm not making a comparison, but Andy let him play, right? He did run around, he did improvise, but what made Andy great was he still found ways to keep having him grow and play in structure and keep having him grow as a quarterback, but didn't take those things away from him. And I think Ben learning Caleb in some sense right now is an important aspect of as well.
The worst thing you can do as a young head coach or a head coach in general with a quarterback that is a playmaker with his legs, like Mahomes and like Josh Allen and Lamar and Caleb, just he likes to do that. You can't take their stinger away. Look, you want to be able to sit in the pocket and go through progressions, but at the end of the day, that is what makes Caleb special. That is what really jumped off the screen to me in college is like the way he able to create almost to a fault. Here, he's going through progressions. If stuff's not there, go out there and create. And the arm strength really jumped out to me as well.
Oh, I think you posted that. We posted that clip of him fading back towards his left and somehow throws it almost all the way to the boundary. Just the arm strength is just bananas. It's nuts. All right, moving on. Jalen Hurts. He is now 3-0. This was an interesting start to the season, though, as the Eagles were averaging 119 yards per game through the air. That's the fewest yards per game passing that any team has had, I think, since 2010 to be 2-0. But they were, and they're winning games. But we wanted to see this aspect. Down the field chase was not happening. I believe there were like 2 completions of more than 10 air yards before this game. But in the second half, you see him hit 7 of 9 for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns on balls going more than 10 yards through the air. Is this passing offense that we saw in the second half, is it fixed? Is that what we're going to see? Was anything unlocked, and are your worries gone about the Philadelphia Eagles passing game?
Yeah, there are a lot of great questions there, James.
There's only 4 of them in that.
There was like 4 of them there.
Jace, you're going to learn when you take some of those ESPN courses soon. You're only supposed to ask one question, not 4.
I think you should have directed that question to me.
We've been at the NFL Network. We get it.
Honestly, I can handle it. So fixed, I don't know. Look, the first half was about as poor a first half as I've seen Jalen Hurts play as a professional quarterback when it comes to throwing the football. And I literally, before we got on, I literally just went back through the 67 plays they ran and just swiped through it. And a couple things stood out to me in the first half. One, obviously, like Lane Johnson getting hurt, like that stinks, right? Like 70, and then 79, big 79 comes in. And really struggled. And I think the Rams had a lot of success blitzing Jalen Hurts. He got hit a few times in the pocket. And here's the thing about Jalen. Like, he's used to an excellent offensive line. So he's used to being able to hold the ball a little bit longer. And he's used to be able to let these deeper developing routes develop down the field. And in the first half, that was not happening. The Rams did a really good job pressuring him. They were an empty too much, I thought, in the first half. Where I know Jalen likes it, but you got pressures coming from this way. You got Lane Johnson hurt. You got a backup tackle in. I thought that game plan was just not great. And then 23 plays in the first half, and then 44 in the second half. That's what I've noticed. Not only this game, but with Jalen Hurts in the past game. If he gets some early completions and drives, it really gives him confidence as a quarterback to continue to go and push the ball down the field. But I do think that offense, when they benched 79 and went to 74, they started rolling in the second half. And it was the first deep completion to A.J. Brown on an amazing deep ball throw. And then the very next play was a touchdown down the middle to the tight end. And that was the confidence they sort of needed. And I think that, like, when they get A.J. Brown involved early, good things happen. Like, really good things happen. And they did not get him involved at all in the really first 2.5 games of the entire year. And I just think, and I think, like, when Hurts is throwing the football down the field, when he's throwing the football down the field, that's when he's best, because he is accurate down the football field. Now, were there some misreads in the first half? Actually, absolutely. He missed 2 or 3 wide open guys. Like, it just wasn't clicking for him. But, James, it just goes to show you, like, this Rams team, I think, is a really good team, and they're going to be playing deep in January. But to turn it around and the offensive coordinator, Kevin Petula, and Jalen Hurts to get on the same page going in the second half and really lean on Jalen's arm, that just shows you, like, the Eagles are still that way. Like, it took them a while last year to get it going. And I, like, it's just like any other quarterback a little bit. Like, when you start feeling it, you start playing well. But, man, Jalen just finds freaking play. Like, he just finds ways to win. Like, this is about his poor effort in the first half that I've ever seen. And he threw for like 18 yards. All of a sudden, it was like something clicked. All right, let's roll. And then they rolled him in the second half. It was unbelievable.
Chase, the Eagles have won 17 straight when Jalen Hurts has started and finished a game, right? So
when full season.
So when he's out there, they find ways. And I do think that was, I had a bunch of different takeaways from watching that game yesterday about the Rams, but for the Eagles specifically, they do have that magic this year. They do. They don't panic at all. They never seem panicked. And you can say what you want about what the Rams are doing, up 26-7, but the Eagles defense still only kept into some field goals. If the Rams score in the red zone, they're in trouble.
Good. Yeah.
Right? So it's like you go into the half and you're like, all right, it's not great, but it could be a lot worse. And so I think that's probably why they can stay so poised, knowing that, all right, it's not horrible. It could be a lot more terrible. But I just think for this team coming off a Super Bowl, still not playing their best game. They still have not played the best version. And they're not supposed to. It's September. I get it. But the fact that they have found ways to win, they're the new Kansas City Chiefs. I just think that's what this team has.
Stop. Don't say the new Kansas City Chiefs.
I do think there is there is something to that, Diana. There is of figuring out ways to win games like that. And figuring out a way, like, I think you do learn that. And I think good teams know how to do it.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you both a question, in fact.
Okay.
So 2 years ago, I don't know. I'm not going to have this stat correct. I know that. But I believe they started, 10-0 or 11-0?
Correct.
Okay.
You mean Philly? I thought you were talking about Kansas City.
Philly. They started 10-0, 11-0, whatever it is. And then they really struggled down the stretch.
What happened?
And it's way too early to say this, but it looks like, remember that they were barely winning games, but they were finding ways to win. And we were like,
this is with Brian Johnson. This is 2 years. This is
2 years ago. That's what I'm
there's
saying.
a lot of play callers mixed in here, guys.
Yes. Yeah. I know. And Jalen Hurts is still Jalen Hurts, but that was 2 years ago. Remember how we were like, okay, they're finding ways to win. Exactly what you just said. And they're good. And then they started really struggling down the stretch as teams figured them out. I don't think that's going to happen this year. But I do feel the start of the game and the start of this year, even though they're finding ways to win, they haven't been dominant. And I like that they're finding ways to win. I'm just saying, like, that's what I'm going to keep my eye on the next few weeks is like 2 years ago.
You just poo-pooed Dianna saying it's like the Chiefs, and that's exactly what the Chiefs did last year. They started 11-0, and if you ask anybody on that coaching staff, they were like, we shouldn't be winning these games.
Jalen Hurts is not Patrick Mahomes.
I didn't say that.
No,
she said the Kansas City Chiefs.
She said the Chiefs.
I am not saying that.
The Chiefs are the Chiefs are because of Patrick Mahomes. Let's make sure that's completely out there. You know what I mean?
Is the Eagles' offense vanilla right now?
Very. Yeah, watching them on the game, they have 3 to 4 different runs, and they're an empty and then some play action. Pretty vanilla. Yeah.
Okay.
Does it need to be chocolate for them to be good?
Well, if you don't want to fall behind and rely on Jalen Hurts' arm, I think it needs to be like a mix, like chocolate vanilla, right? Like I think there has to be some more stuff. I think
Neapolitan.
Here's what's happening is teams are daring so far this year, Jalen Hurts, to throw the football down the field. And until the second half of this past game, he has not been good at it. When he's good at it and teams dare them and stack the box to stop Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts in the run,
Super Bowl.
when they'll go to the Super Bowl. They will.
No, that happened in the Super Bowl.
That's
100%.
Yeah.
And that, but I'm just saying that's what it takes for the Philadelphia Eagles this version this year, because every game they're gonna make Jalen Hurts beat him with the arm. Saquon's gonna get his yards, right? But he ain't getting 2,000 this year. Like people are off the bus trying to stop the run. I just think they're just such the better roster, and they're the better players, and they're just like, especially on defense, like they impose their will, and when they're rolling up front, like it's just hard to beat them. But I do think people stack the box down and make Jalen beat you with his arm.
What you said, Chase, as I close this out on Jalen before we get to Justin Herbert, is exactly right. Making some calls there. It's a Philly. It's this. We've been too conservative. And we've been too conservative because we know the defense we have. We know the run game we have. And we know, like in that Kansas City game last week, one turnover changes the course of the game. So we want to protect the football, play really good defense. And they do feel like when they've self-scouted the first 2 weeks, we've been almost overly conservative. Like we need to maybe take a couple of little chances. We need to maybe push the ball downfield. And if you ask A.J. Brown after the game, what did he say? We got some killers out there. I want to be aggressive. Let's go. But they did see that in themselves, that they've been a little too maybe overly conservative. And we've seen that for stretches with Jalen too. We saw at the back end of last year where they relied so heavily on Saquon Barkley.
I just think A.J. Brown is such a good player.
It's so good.
And honestly, like I have a page full of notes that I just wrote down after the first note I took out of all those, and we didn't even mention it. Devonta Smith is playing excellent.
Yes,
excellent.
That's a run.
Whenever he's involved, good things happen for this Eagles team. Always,
very much so.
Guys, I'm sure you guys have seen them. They've been alive for years, but I've enjoyed the locker room cheering and the tunnel interactions more than ever. And I know there's no cameras down there, but like I'm just seeing all these different angles of Howie Roseman and AJ. Everyone's rolling. It doesn't matter if you're a fan, if you're working for the network, whatever, and they're everywhere. So there are teams that I don't know how I feel about them, and I wind up liking them more after I see these videos because I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Howie jumping in the tunnel. Way to get that, John Clark, Johnny Airport.
Johnny.
All right. Justin Herbert is 3-0. I think he might be working his way into this MVP conversation. I don't know if they win 2 of these 3 games, Chase, last year or maybe the year before. If you look at the way Herbert feels different in year 2 with Harbaugh, it just seems like those close games always got away from them. And now you see almost a closer mentality from Justin Herbert. 2 final drives by him. The touchdown pass we can get to it to Keenan Allen was absurd.
That was stupid.
Then it was just nuts. Then he goes 4 for 4 on the final drive to get them into field goal range to win it. What are you seeing from Herbert? You know him so well. Is there a different look in that eye? Is there a different player we've seen with what Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh are asking him to do, and he's kind of following through so far?
Yeah. Look, they're unleashing Justin Herbert. He's thrown for 860 yards, 6 touchdowns and interceptions in 3 games this year. No more important fact of the matter is that they are 3-0 with 3 division wins. And in those games, they've needed Justin Herbert to play well late in games, and he has done that. And I think that was maybe the one thing that you could say in Justin Herbert's career, not always playing well when the game's on the line. And to answer your question about, hey, is Justin Herbert different? Even my wife, okay, who knows him? She didn't even care about the game. She said, Hey, did you see Justin Herbert's tunnel entrance? He's like actually wearing jeans and like a cool like t-shirt. He's not like in Nike stuff and stuff. Like, what's happened? I'm like, I don't know. I guess he got a famous girlfriend, right? Like all that stuff. But like even she's
a lot of Nike
it.
stuff from Oregon, I would assume.
A lot of Nike stuff. Those but like days in Oregon. It's refreshing. He's got that like sort of FU tattooed on his head. Like he just doesn't care. Like the honey badger don't care, and he does have a look in his eye. But you can have all that stuff, James and Dianna. But if you don't go out there and play and do it, and the way he's doing it is just impressive. Like it's just like he's putting the team on his back and saying, "Let's freaking go."
Chase,
and
some of the throws them more, though? Is unbelievable. Is that what it is? Like, how much is this a trust factor when you're playing that position? Because he seems like he's just willing to throw it now, whereas last year there were a couple of times we were criticizing his hesitation.
Yeah, and I would think that would be from the receiver room last year. A lot of unproven commodities last year. This year, you look at the way Q Johnston has been playing. He's been playing excellent. Ladd McConkey, and then Keenan Allen. Like Keenan Allen, I think it's one of the more underrated receiver rooms. I'm not going to say, great, but like it's one of the more underrated receiver rooms with Justin almost averaging 300 yards a game. They really don't have a tight end that they throw to. They were throwing to a guy in his first NFL game, and then, running back, Amari Hampton, rookie. I mean, and they lost their tackle at the beginning of the year. I mean, a lot of injuries even, and they're still rolling. They're still finding ways to win, and that defense is still really good. And it just feels like, I don't want to go so far out on a limb, but it feels like they're a top 3 to 4 team in the NFL right now. Just the way they're built. And then that's not being hyperbolic. That's just like what I see on film and what I see on tape, and the way Justin Herbert's playing like a top 5 quarterback in the league right now. All this stuff's working for the Chargers.
What one of the most entertaining things we're seeing this NFL season is Greg Roman changing his stripes and being aggressive down the field and playing to the strengths that you're saying, true. Chase, because they can attack you with their receiver room now, Dianna, on all 3 levels. Quentin Johnston can take you deep. Ladd McConkey is a slot merchant, as people say, right? And he was their passing offense last year. Ladd McConkey was their passing offense as a rookie. And now you can go to 3 different options in the passing game and spread teams out and beat them on all 3 levels. I just think what Greg Roman's doing, and they've encouraged him to run more. They've changed the way they've run an offense, these two, and they're doing it for Justin Herbert. And I think, Dianna, it's been just awesome to see Greg Roman kind of go out and do this.
And we're always criticizing coordinators and head coaches for not adjusting to the players, being so egomaniacal and forcing the way that they want to play the game. And now it seems Greg Roman, after all these years, is recognizing, and I don't know if he came up with this on his own, if he had his own come to Jesus on it, of just, hey, we've got a killer quarterback here. So I just think you combine these two things with a defense that does a good amount of just movement. They're always moving around, doing different things, showing you different things. I think you combine these two things. I don't want to spend too much time, but I feel like we have to do it because we spend so much of our summer talking about Denver. Guys, just what are you feeling?
It's the exact opposite, I think, Chase. And I want your opinion because you know Sean so well. It's the exact opposite of what we were just saying about Justin Herbert. He has a look in his eye to close out games. They haven't closed out 1-score games last year, and they haven't done it this year. And I think that's one of those things. We talked about it with, Jalen Hurts and the Chiefs as well, that good teams know how to win. I feel like in some of these aspects, they're learning late in games how to win. And man, Bo Nix had a couple of deep shots that, all of them just a hair out of reach.
Look, if you're Broncos fans, I'm not too worried. Like I still really think this is a good team. You're upset. I'm not worried because they really should have freaking won against Indy. Like, let's be real, okay? And honestly, versus what we think, or I think is a top 3 or 4 team in the NFL. You took them down to the 4th quarter, and Justin Herbert had to have a game-winning drive against the strength of your defense, right? I get that. However, there were plays to be made in the passing game, and you missed it by a couple inches. You hit one of those. The game is completely different. Now, I'm not saying this is a win, mentally, but like it's gonna come, and I do think it's gonna make them better down the stretch. I still think they're a playoff team. They're just in a really difficult division. And I do think that like these early season, I mean, they could sit here being what they could be 3-0. Like the way they played like a 3-0 team. Now they played some really good. Like this Chargers team is good, and you got to figure out ways to win. But like I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, and you made 4 big offseason acquisitions in the free agency. Yeah. 2 of them are already having injury issues. There's Dre Greenlaw on IR. Evan Ingram didn't suit up for this one. Dobbins has been good. Funga's been good.
Yeah.
But the other 2 haven't been able to really contribute much. All right, coming up next on Scoop City, presented by eBay, Sunday Scaries, and it might have been Russell Wilson inside the red zone. Is it time for Jaxson Dart? Chase, I've never heard him bring it up before. We'll get his take. And also, JJ McCarthy and Carson Wentz. What's happening in the quarterback room in Minnesota? Next on Scoop City. Scoop City on a Monday, presented by eBay. James Palmer, Dianna Russini, Chase Daniel with you, and a topic that Chase has been banging the table for. Will it happen this week? Russell Wilson and the Giants struggle against the Chiefs. Russ goes 18 of 32 for 160 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. A couple of moon balls got picked off. It almost looked like the Chiefs knew they were coming. Is it time to make a switch at quarterback? What did you see? Have you seen enough? Chase Daniel.
They play the Chargers next week?
Yep.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. And then the Saints.
Okay, that's a tough secondary for your first NFL start.
Yeah. Look, I don't know. I mean, personally, I think the time was now. I think the time was like a couple weeks ago. But like honestly, like look, Russell Wilson,
week 1,
he threw for 450.
Week 1
in Dallas.
We're not that deep in.
I know, but like you know how I feel about the dude.
I know.
Like
it's not they're not winning games with Russ. They're just
even the broadcast last night, if you watched and listened with keen sense of hearing, you heard Collinsworth say like, hey, there's a lot of excitement within the Giants building about Jaxson Dart.
Did he say it like that, or did he go, there's a lot of excitement about Jaxson Dart?
He said it exactly like that.
Okay.
And look, I understand he's a rookie. I understand that you thought Russ would give you the best chance to win, and rightfully so, probably. They haven't won. They haven't won. So, like, I get it. Like, you probably don't want to throw him to the Wolves this week, but by the Saints game, he's starting, and I'll win that bet because Halloween's still not for another month and a half. I just think that what Jaxson can give you is the up-tempo offense that we saw in the preseason with Brian Daboll. I think that he can give a little bit of hope if he goes out there and plays well. I think you get Cam Scattaboo and Jaxson Dart rolling back there like 2 rookies. And my whole thing is like, if you can show some hope to Giants fans, maybe you keep your job. Right now, if they keep losing, they're losing their jobs.
Yeah, like there's one man you're trying to show hope to, I think.
Yeah, and I think that at the end of the day, it's just like when they're chanting, when your home crowd is chanting, "We want Dart." Like I thought Russell played really well 2 weeks ago against Dallas, and I thought he played really poorly this week. None other than that 4-play sequence in the red zone when they're down 2 scores and they get called for intentional grounding, and then on 4th down he throws it through the uprights. He throws it through the uprights on 4th down. And look, I get it. Like, I don't want to criticize too much because that position is hard to play. What is the point, Dianna, in continuing with Russell Wilson? Because I don't see it.
I think it has less to do about Russell, more to do with Jaxson Dart. Not because they don't think he's ready. I just think that they want to give him the right situation and the right game. And we have heard over and over the excitement. And truthfully, I just think the more we don't see him, the more the hype builds and the more we're expecting him to be a certain level and a certain caliber of player. Because just by them keeping this so mysterious, I almost feel like it's unfair to him. Like, we're going to expect him to come out and play like Justin Herbert did in his first game where we were blown away. Look, I hope that's the case for them. I hope they unleash him and we all go, why didn't they play him from week 1 like we do with Drake May in New England? Mm-hmm. Remember when they did that? Yep. So look, this could be it. I mean, if you're Brian Daboll and you're Joe Shane and you're looking at your offense and you're looking at what Daniel Jones is doing, and you're looking at the fact that look what happened with Pittsburgh last year. Russell gave you a little bit of an opportunity, a little bit of chance, and then the defense is smartened up again and was like, all right, we'll just shut down the moon ball and then game over, right? Mm-hmm. And they weren't able to do anything. And I think we're there already. I think we hit it. I think we hit the max with Russ. It's just going to be a matter of what they think is best in terms of protecting the young kid and the best scenario.
Why though? Like protect the young kid. Look, you're not winning. You're not winning. And look, and this is I'm going to just calm down.
No, don't calm down.
Here's the thing.
Let's go.
Here's the thing. You cannot get better in this league as a rookie quarterback in practice. You cannot get better in this league in the film room. You cannot get better in this league in the preseason as a rookie. You cannot get better in the league as anything else other than playing real live football games that matter. You have to throw him in the fire and see how he reacts. He seems like he's a really confident young kid. And if you think he's that fragile, where if a loss or something like that is going to hurt you, should never draft him in the first place. Ooh. It's New York. It's New York.
That's a good point.
It's New York. Like, why? I get what you're saying, and I get more so with the Giants. You got to play the guy. What are we doing here, James?
Yeah, what confuses me is I do believe, Jace, that was a great point about the market size actually does matter. Where you go is actually a big part of the evaluation of certain teams. It is on the board in New York, to my understanding. We play in New York. Can they handle it? It was a big part of their evaluation of Malik Neighbors, in all honesty, and how he's made up and how he can play in New York. And so I think he did check those boxes. I think he has checked some. What confuses me is you put him in last night again for a play, and you keep kind of doing these little things where you just, are you teasing all of us, Brian Daboll? Is this all part of some sort of plan? That's what I think it is. He has some sort of plan about why he's doing this. If he doesn't, it seems very bizarre. And so when we keep seeing him pop in for a play or two, he's not ready. Well, he came in, he played in the game. Well, play him more. It's very, very fascinating to see. And listen, we've seen some players start their careers very, very successfully, and then we've seen them hit some lulls. I'm talking about Mr. Carson Wentz. And we saw Carson Wentz go out there and get himself a win for the team he grew up rooting for. I don't know if anybody's mentioned that yet. In Bismarck, North Dakota, rooting for the purple and gold. Chase, what did you see from Carson Wentz? Because I think this is one of the more interesting quarterback careers we've seen in recent memory, from being a number 2 overall pick to borderline MVP frontrunner to tearing the ACL. The team wins the Super Bowl without him. He's played now, started 6 years. Were you excited to see him play on Sunday?
Sure, yeah. I mean, remember, I was with him as a rookie. I'm not sold on that. I was with him as a rookie when he was a rookie in 2016. Mm-hmm. And then I backed him up and thought, he had a really good first year, I thought, for the most part. And then 17, until that Rams game, he was MVP. I mean, he would have won the MVP. I mean, if things would have kept going. But yeah, it's just he was sort of on the street, right? And it's just another one of the Kevin O'Connell's like, hey, man, I'm really good at coaching quarterbers. Like, we can sort of plug and play. I'm the new Kyle Shanahan. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that the game plan was really good for a inexperienced quarterback who just got there, who wasn't there in training camp. A lot of short passes, a lot of this, a lot of that, and I thought Carson was really accurate with that. And I thought, hey, look at the cast around him. Like it's awesome.
You mean the defense?
Well, that too, but just look at offensively. I'm not going to get to the defense yet. Look at offensively. Like it's freaking loaded. They went in and secured the offensive line early, and then you get 2 touchdowns, from the defense from the same guy. Like it's good. I still think that JJ is still obviously their guy, but I was excited for Carson, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but Carson posted a picture on Instagram a couple hours ago. And it was of him and his family huddled, praying, on the sideline, and some action pictures. And he was like, "Hey, I can't believe, I was able to root for these guys growing up, and then go out there and get a win." I just thought that humanized him a little bit, right? He's just really taken in, hey, I'm not taking this for granted. And I'm not saying he has in the past, but I just think that full circle, 6 teams, 6 years. There's been a lot of unrest. I just think from mentally for him, it was just man, that was an awesome moment to see.
Dianna, could he stay in this job? Is that possible?
In as if JJ McCarthy's healthy, comes back, can he stay?
Say JJ misses 3 games.
Stop that.
No?
Stop
okay.
That. You stop that right now.
I guess you should never say no when you're in the NFL, right? I shouldn't be so stubborn there.
They didn't sign legit Hall of Fame quarterbacks in the offseason. You stop it right now,
quarterback.
Dianna.
No, I didn't say it. James,
I just asked the question.
Here's what I knew just headed into that game too. Just he had such a great week of practice, and look, the Minnesota Vikings organization does a really good job of getting their quarterbacks ready, obviously, but also just from a confidence factor, they were not sweating this at all. And I know they weren't playing against this amazing Bengals defense, but usually you get a little feel when you talk to people there that, we'll see how this goes. I didn't get any of that.
Why weren't they sweating it?
I think Carson was able to run the offense because he played with Sean McVay, and Kevin O'Connell felt comfortable with him and just popping him in there. I also think Kevin O'Connell's got confidence in his game calling ability.
I think Kevin likes
what he did with Josh Dobbs last year.
Remember that story? Remember Josh Dobbs got off the plane and was just like, "This is what you do." He's like drawing on his finger.
Dobbs.
Yeah. Look, and it doesn't help that your defense is ridiculous, is coming up with turnovers. Like that's how you're going to win, and that's really what 9 non-offensive touchdowns we saw over the weekend. I mean, that was many? Turnovers, explosive plays. I feel like that was just the story of the weekend anyway. So Minnesota headed to Dublin.
Oh, there you go.
That wasn't right.
No, try it again.
Was that an Irish accent?
They're going to have steak and beer.
Whoa,
that's bad. Are you were in your Dublin sweater vest? What is that? Like a houndstooth right there?
Ooh,
I feel like you could get away with that in Dublin.
Is houndstooth Irish?
I don't know, but it looks
we got to really move on.
Isles,
we're getting dumber by the second.
If it was green, maybe.
Okay, I'll wear it next week.
Well, the reason I asked the question, and I know it's not going to happen, I don't think, is it's been an interesting 3 years now that Carson Wentz has been through in quarterback rehab mode. He goes to a year with Sean McVay, then a year with Andy Reid, now a year with Kevin O'Connell. I think he's probably learned a boatload. And if you ask anybody, and Chase, you backed him up for a year, Carson's always been kind of his own worst enemy in terms of how some of these things have gone down in the course of his career. But it'll be interesting to see what he can do or how many weeks he gets there with Kevin O'Connell. I think Kevin likes these challenges.
With JJ, is he back or what's the deal?
So he obviously is still dealing with that ankle injury. He wasn't wearing a boot. Did you notice that on the sideline? He didn't have a boot on, which I guess that's good. He's going to travel with the team, so he'll be over there, but they're still saying 4 weeks, so we still have some time.
4 weeks? I guess
they didn't put that. Remember, they did not put
in this last game.
But they did not put him on IR, right, Diana? So there is a chance that they believe it could be 3, it could be 2, whatever it is. Yeah, but it's legitimate. So we'll see what the Wentz man can do.
Look at Chase. Yeah. Chase is like, there's gotta be more.
Yeah, I don't believe that, but okay.
Okay. You know who else is 3-0 as we continue the Sunday Scaries, guys? It's the one Baker Mayfield. Sunday Scaries. He's always feeling dangerous. Here we go. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs have taken the lead with 59 seconds to go, 6 seconds to go, and 0 seconds to go in the course of this 3-game stretch to start the season. Just remarkable. First, is there anybody more fun to watch play Baker, especially in these 2-minute drills? But what's working for him in Tampa right now? Because they have injuries on the line. At the receiver position. Hopefully they get Chris Godwin back next week, but Mike Evans gets banged up. Is it the fact that he wanted to beat his former coach who cut him? Like, just the fact Did he bring that up, Anna? Did he bring that up?
He revealed that in the postgame. It was amazing. He's like, I really wanted to win. But here's what I love about Baker. It's like, most athletes don't want to put that out there because they don't want to think that you're either petty or that you care that much, or some just don't want to.
What's this show love?
Admit it, right? That I'm pissed. Steve Wilkes, the defensive coordinator of the New York Jets, cut me when he was the head coach of the Panthers, and I never forgot that. He just put it out there. Mm-hmm. Like I love that. I think that's that.
Well, I think he's so far past any caring? Of caring, because first of all, he's made money. He's revitalized his career. He's a top 10 quarterback the way he's playing right now. The Bucs are 3-0. They're back-to-back division title winners. All this stuff. He's just you know what? I'm a human. Of course. Every quarterback would want to beat their old coach. I think the thing with Baker is just, it doesn't always, their wins haven't looked pretty. They're not firing on all cylinders yet. There's been a lot of people hurt. Yes. And they find a freaking way to win the game. And and we talked about it a lot maybe last week, but it's just like between the ears. Like, yes, he's fun to watch. He's running around, but between the ears, to be that mentally tough and that mentally strong, and to be with different coordinators almost every year of your career and to just continue to get consistent results. Like that to me, like anyone can go break down what he does on the field. It's just the mental part of the game that he is just like, and he's been this way. And he's been this way all of his career. He's been cocky, and I like that. You have to be like this utmost confidence in your ability to just deliver. And it's just like it is literally what teams practice the most. They practice 2-minute drills consistently and constantly, and the games always come down to something in 2 minutes. And he's been perfect at it this year. He really has.
Someone there described him as Clint Eastwood, and I was like, well. Ooh. I don't know if that works for me because I'm not sure what that means. What does that mean?
I mean, East would like to be challenged in a lot of those movies, right? Try to prove him wrong. He's got you.
I think we can find a 2025 comp there, no?
Chip on his shoulder.
Could we try one? Anyone?
Who's going to be it?
Who's Baker? In terms of the movies, which actor is Baker?
We interviewed Glenn Powell on our game in Texas.
Oh,
maybe him.
What's he like?
From Texas. Really nice guy. Actually,
okay.
Top Gun Maverick.
Not a bad looking dude. Beautiful. Look, I think the fact that I got
Liam Neeson in a text message right now, Diana. Always looking for revenge, Liam Neeson.
Not a bad one. I watched that one with his daughter. What was it? Weekend? Taken? I watched that one every time it's on. I love it.
Yeah.
Right, her under the bed.
Keep getting taken. It's like
they're going to take you.
Okay. The particular set of skills.
That was not Liam Neeson's voice at all.
Diana, your impressions are on fire today. Keep going.
Thanks. The Bucs are really patient with the run. I think their screen game is probably the best in football.
Yeah, it's
right.
Good.
Like
I Forrest Gump accent. Go.
Yeah. I just think if they get healthy, they're going to be a playoff team because you look at that division and I don't really see that much competition.
Yeah, they're going to run away with the division.
Oh my God. I like that Chase just commented they're going to run away with the division. Just saying that was a Forrest Gump accent was tremendous. Just dynamite.
Did you see how I got that? That was good for picking that up right away.
Why isn't Aaron Glenn calling the defenses for the Jets, by the way? Quick note. Just something in the Bucs game. Yeah. Remember I said this to you guys in the offseason? I was like, guys, I've talked to some people who are worried that Aaron Glenn's strength as a defensive coordinator calling the shots there in Detroit, he was so good at it. And look, he stepped into the head coaching role and passed that to Steve Wilkes. I get it. But it's like you're taking away your secret sauce in a way. I don't know. There was just something I was thinking I was watching the Jets.
0-3? Think he'll take it back?
No.
Whoa.
Should ask him.
Nice little thing to dig on. Thank you, Chase. Here's what I'm hearing on Saturday.
Get digging, Diana. Listen, I'll wrap up this Baker Mayfield chat with this. What's the term? What a long, strange trip it's been, I believe, is the term. He starts as a number 1 pick in Cleveland. I remember covering a game there early on. I still think about this all the time. I'm talking to Joe Woods, their defensive coordinator, and Baker walks by to go into the locker room, and he was questionable to play on this Thursday night. And he just turns and back and looks at me and goes, I would be in a foxhole with that dude 365 days out of the year.
That's how I see me feel about him.
Just an absolute gamer in the way he works. And this is what I want to have happen. It's time for Baker to get his due, because what has happened with his last 2 offensive coordinators? It was, whoa, what did Dave Canales do with Baker Mayfield? Let's get him a job. Let's get him to Carolina. He can do that with our quarterback. And then Liam Cohen, what a great job he did with Baker. If he can do that with Baker, let's get him with Trevor Lawrence and let's grab him. Why don't we flip it and say Baker got both those guys jobs? How about that? How about instead of the other way around, it's that way around? Because Baker played really, really well, and now Baker's doing it with a 3rd different offensive coordinator in 3 years. So I'd like to give Baker a little bit of credit for what's gone on in Tampa, as opposed to the opposite way.
I agree with you, James.
I think we give him an early MVP nod.
Ooh.
I think we go early.
Did you see
my
tweet last night?
That's spicy.
No. Did you tweet that?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry, I turned your alerts off because lately they've been a little hot, so I've had to tone you down.
Hold on.
Mute.
The fact that
You're
you
muted, Chase?
had alerts.
I muted him.
You guys are missing the whole point of this. The fact that you had alerts set for me Appreciate
it's a big
that.
deal.
It's called when you love your team, you are supposed to be almost an expert on them.
I've never had
right. That's why my password's Chase Daniel.
You go
Warren.
Go through. Yeah, what has been hot on the Twitter tweet? What's been so bad, Diana? Tell me.
Oh no, I appreciate it. I just want your thoughts to be original on the show.
I like it.
I don't want to know what you're going to say, so I'm like, I don't want to consume him.
Natural reaction.
Well, we didn't talk about the Chiefs, and I had a lot of stuff to say about the Chiefs, so that was original.
Yep,
that's always a guarantee on Scoop City.
That's why I muted Chase. That's why I muted Chase. Okay, wrapping up Scoop City on a Monday presented by eBay. We are going to talk about Daniel Jones and the Colts. Chase is going to tell us if this is sustainable and it's real. And guess what? Kyle Shanahan, amidst all the injuries, still has his team with 2 division wins and 3-0. Let's see what happens with both of these teams. Our opinions coming up next on Scoop City. Scoop City on a Monday, presented by eBay. As we close things out, James Palmer, Chase Daniel, Dianna Russini with you. And we talked about a couple of these 3-0 teams. They have star quarterbacks. Well, the Indianapolis Colts are 3-0. Do they have a legitimate quarterback in Daniel Jones? Shane Steichen has him playing really, really well, Chase. Is there an aspect of this offense or this team that has jumped out at you? Yes, they have not played the NFL's most difficult teams in 2 of their first 3 games, but impressive somewhat, right?
No, definitely impressive. I mean, look, the most impressive thing, they only have 1 punt in 3 games. They've only punted
stealing money
1 time. They're averaging 34 points per game, second in the NFL, and they're averaging 418 yards a game, second in the NFL, and 0 turnovers. One of only 3 teams. Like, you just put those, forget about who you play. I don't care about who you play. You put up stats like that, and then you watch, and they have some playmakers, and it's just, it feels to me that, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but it feels to me like Shane Steichen finally has a quarterback that he trusts to run his scheme exactly how he wants it. Now, the competition hasn't been the best, right? I get it. But, man, they're freaking moving the ball offensively. Like, that's probably been the biggest surprise, I'd say, of the entire year of any team, is just like, hey, like, when Daniel Jones signed, we were like, okay, there's going to be a competition. Daniel Jones wouldn't even promise a starting job. Who's going to win? Yeah, Daniel Jones, it was skewing your way. But like Anthony Richardson, like he's like, I haven't heard nothing about him. He's just an afterthought now. Like, you draft him 4 overall and then he's gone. And then Daniel Jones has this like career where he's like, it's like way better than he was at the Giants, but then he's taken some of the Giant stuff with his run ability. It's impressive to watch. And the fact is, like, when you can sustain drives like the Indianapolis Colts can, and you don't punt the football away, you don't put your football team defensively on the field a lot, they get to rest, and they're getting better 3 and outs, and they haven't been perfect and all this stuff. But like, I just thought the win this week was good. Yeah, okay, right. I thought they were going to beat the win last week though, and we didn't really versus the Broncos, and a team that I think really highly of. Like, that's a confidence booster. That's a confidence builder. And to score a lot of points on that defense, it feels like
think about what that's like for Daniel Jones.
Tying your shoe?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
Think about what that's like for Daniel Jones, right? Just like what he went through, and he was taken through the ringer in New York, right? Like, it was not an easy road for him here. And I don't know where his mental space was. I don't know what his confidence level was when he got to Minnesota. I know that they did tons of rehabbing of him from just look, you can still play. And I think that stop really helped him. I don't know if it took him over the edge to be like, okay, you're great. But all of this is just going to continue to add to what I think could be the best version, a version we haven't even seen of Daniel Jones. And it's so hard to see that and not kind of have a little voice in our head that goes, come on, it's Daniel Jones, right?
Oh,
but if he's got the right coaching,
his family's not watching.
He's got the protection. He's got the Jonathan Taylor in this, who is, in my opinion, one of the more underrated players this season.
Talk about him.
I mean, we all know how good he is, but this is the best version of Jonathan Taylor we've seen. He's healthy.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Saquon Barkley from seeing Daniel Jones out there. He knows how to deal with a run game like that. He needs a run game like that. So all of this is adding up on top of the fact that you have a defense led by Lou Anarumo, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of good coming out of Indy for a team that really could have quite the story after obviously losing their owner. And the fact that Could you imagine if Jim Irsay was around seeing his team 3-0 right now? Like, that's what I was thinking about yesterday. It's sad. But also, maybe he's got a little something to do with it up there.
They got the patch on the jersey and they're playing hard for him. Listen, you're right with Jonathan Taylor. And if you talk to people there, they'll tell you the pass protection has gone to another level this year. And that helps Daniel Jones. That's been a big part of his continued growth as one of the better backs that nobody talks about in this league. He had 3 yards in this game and 3 touchdowns. Yeah, but I think, Jason, to me, and I want to ask you this, is everybody knows their role in this offense, right? Michael Pittman knows he's the big body outside receiver. Alec Pierce knows he's the deep threat. Josh Downs knows he's the slot guy. And everybody knows what they do in this offense around Daniel Jones. But now you throw the rookie in Tyler Warren, who lines up everywhere and has been outstanding from the jump. They had plays, I'm told, designed for last Sunday specifically to have him blocking because they love how physical he is. They had some ISO stuff with him in front. How does that type of player change an offense? Have you seen him take this offense to another level? He is a rookie, but he has done so much so quickly in making things difficult on defenses.
Well, I think you hit it. I think the way he moves around the field at all different positions, and it's just harder for defenses to key in on him, right? And when you have a guy that can block and you have a guy that can do all this stuff, you don't really have to take him off the field, right? You don't want to overload him. Yep. But when you're on the field, and I know this is like day one stuff, but like if stuff's not open downfield, he's your safety blanket. And the way he is with the ball in his hands after he catches, like it's impressive. Like he's got that wiggle, similar to Travis Kelce, like way early in his career. But he just finds a way to get open. And I mean, like I always knew, like when I played, like if I am not feeling good about my matchups outside, like I really like a tight end on a linebacker, like every down. Like if you have a guy that can win, like I feel really comfortable, and I think Daniel Jones does too.
It's been interesting. All right, Dianna, you told us about Nick Bosa at the start of this show, but he's not the only injury that Kyle Shanahan's been dealing with. Weapons galore have been down. Brandon Ayuk still not back. Jennings missed this game. George Kittle's on IR. Brock Purdy himself has now missed 2 games. So we've seen some Mac Jones. And they're 3-0. Like what has Kyle Shanahan done right in pulling certain levers to make sure that not only are they 3-0, but they're 2-0 in the division?
Yeah, I still don't think that the San Francisco 49ers are dominant in any area, right? Whereas usually we see, especially with Kyle Shanahan, we see the run game just explode. I have not seen that on either side of the ball yet they're winning. So that tells me like that's the good news for them, right? Because I don't even think they're good yet. All their stars haven't been on the field at the same time. Obviously, you laid out all the injuries, and perhaps there'll be some more coming up, unfortunately, because it just seems to be the trend there in San Francisco. And obviously a defense without Nick Bosa, that's going to be tough sledding for them. But look, Kyle Shanahan is great at what he does because he doesn't ask the quarterback to do anything that he is not comfortable doing, and Kyle has that trust with his quarterbacks. He's able to get this connection with all of them. And I think that's why they have felt so confident with Mac Jones, who played his best game of his career against the Saints last week, and then was solid in this out. Look, he's like great. Right?
Let's go.
But, all right, so maybe I'm being a little hard. Why am I making it so tough? Okay, let me ease up. Okay, because it wasn't help.
Reset.
I just think for do-over. No. I just think for an offense that could be electric when Brock is back. I think once they get him back, I think this is where we're going to see this thing take off. And the fact that they're surviving right now and they're 3-0, all the credit in the world to them and their coaching staff.
Is he good? But so he'll be back, you're saying? You think?
He's expected to be back. They were hoping 3 weeks was 2 weeks was kind of the number.
Is there a limitation? Like, is he fully healed? Is like what's the deal with that?
Like at the end of the week, right, Dianna? Like he at least kind of got out there in some capacity.
There was a thought that he could be back up maybe. And then they decided to just say, you know what, let's just not even take this gamble here. So
you don't think they're rushing it? Like I with the toe like that. Like,
no, it's a good question. Especially like you're seeing Joe Burrow's situation. Come on, if you're a quarterback, how do you not see that and freak out, right? Like don't rush me back. Look, the fact that James made a good point. If he was mentally okay with going back out on the field to at least go to practice, even though it was limited, that's a really good sign, knowing that they probably want to be careful. So could it be another week? Yes. But I still think they're going to try to get him ready to go.
Yeah, I just think until they, like, it's always hard with the toe, right? Because like I have thought that Brock Purdy the last like year, his game has been not as much as it was rookie year where he's just staying in the pocket. He's moving around a lot. Like he is scrambled a lot to not really to run, but to throw. That's the only thing I'm a little worried about watching how that will impact his game this next game, because I don't know if he's going to be healthy enough to like with a toe to like sprint out of the pocket every single time.
Well, they got the Jags.
But the Jags aren't
and then
bad.
the Rams on a short week.
Yeah, Jags are forcing turnovers. I'll say that though.
Yeah.
The one person that we didn't mention, and I'll say him before we say goodbye, Ricky Pearsall has come on. He is third in the NFL in receiving. He's, I believe, first in yards per target, second in first downs. He's got 14 first downs already. Ricky Pearsall's been playing his tail off. Talking to people there, they love the stamina, the ability to stay on the field, in and out of breaks, the route running, the savvy already in year 2 is showing. And it's been huge when we mentioned all the other guys that are out in that offense. Imagine him getting this growth early, because he missed obviously so much of his rookie season, having this, and then you get Ayuk back, and then you get, Kittle back, and then you get these pieces around Brock back. It's going to be interesting. Maybe they're just sustaining things until they can get healthy. So keep your eye on those San Francisco 49ers. All right, for Chase Daniel, Dianna Russini, James Palmer here. That was another wonderful, wonderful Monday of a Scoop City presented by EB. Don't forget, next Monday, we are live at noon Eastern. So, Dianna, wear a green houndstooth jacket.
I will. Would you like to hear my German accent?
Yes, I would. No.
Thank you for hanging out on Scoop City.
Well,
German?